Brian Milligan, Chris Robinson,
Yes, sir.
Christopher Robinson,
Chris Robinson.
Chris
Or
Robinson.
Christopher, because it sounds like Winnie the Pooh, so it's fine.
Yeah, Christopher
Robinson. Yeah.
Christopher Robin would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've probably gotten that a lot, right?
Every day of my life.
Every day of his life. So if you see Chris Robinson, give the guy a break. I mean, like, seriously. That's like that movie Office Space where the guy's named Michael Bolton. You know, just like, yeah, oh, like the singer. And Brian Milligan, what's your story?
Like what? Like in comedy or just in life?
Oh yeah, just give me whatever you want anyone to be like. I'm Brian. That's Brian Milligan.
I get that I look like Chris Stapleton a lot, who is a super fat country singer.
Super fat country singer.
Way fatter than me. Like I'm fat and he's very large. But no, I'm fairly new to stand up. Met Chris about 6 months ago, right after he started his podcast.
Very cool. Very cool.
And kind of just been doing that ever since.
You have a star power look though.
Oh,
You really
thanks.
do. You have someone that I could see just being so versatile in film.
Thank you.
I could see it. Like right now you got the big beard and long hair, but I mean like you would transform if you did anything, if you just changed that.
Yeah. And this is actually this is new too.
Yeah,
Like,
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I used to have just, regular face.
Yeah, if you look on Facebook, it's way sketchier than the beard.
Yeah.
I thought the beard's him looking shitty. No. The beard's very important.
No, the beard sells my face.
The beard's
now.
for us. It's
I'm
not for you.
thinking.
It's for us.
It's 100% for y'all.
Very cool. And Chris, I hear you have a podcast yourself
Yep.
that I got to be on, which is awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming.
And tell me a little bit about that. And also, you said you also wanted to start like a YouTube thing too with cars.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is I'm a comic and I'm trying to grow my career. And what I've noticed that social media is so important.
Yeah.
And it's not something I'm good at. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I can create content that doesn't like make me feel like I'm selling my soul.
Of course, something that you are passionate about that you
Exactly,
like, right?
Yeah. So I'm a comic, so I love comedy and I love cars. So like when I was a kid, my parents said that I could tell you what kind of car it was before I could tell you what color it was. Like I hadn't learned my colors yet, and I knew the difference between like a Mercedes-Benz and a BMW and like a Porsche. I could tell.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, is there any films that have inspired you as far as like cars go? Like, have you any good car movies?
I'm gonna be super corny.
Okay.
And say
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, baby. Nothing wrong with that.
You could have said Gone in 60 Seconds.
I could have.
At least
Yeah.
had a badass Shelby.
No. But
wait,
but
which Gone in 60 Seconds? That was
Nicolas
two of them,
Cage.
right?
The Nicolas
Nick
Cage
one.
with
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that. Chris and I, Chris Ray off camera.
Yeah.
He's been on the channel. You can throw a little emoji of his face on the screen. He did. What movie did we bring up? Transporter.
The Transporter.
Oh yeah.
We were just bringing up Jason Statham in general.
He's a handsome fella.
Absolutely, love him. A perfect addition to the Fast and Furious franchise, right? Like it's just a matter of time.
But as a car person, though, like the Fast and Furious franchise started off, it was a little embellished. Like people aren't usually taking Honda Civics to hijack like semi trucks.
Yeah.
But now they're like going to space and fighting the Rock, and it was like it's done. Like, what have they done at this point?
That's the problem about going bigger, and bigger instead of expanding on what was the universe they were in. They went from expanding, which I really loved in Fast 5, being like my favorite of the whole. But what they ended up doing after 5 and 6 is they just kept trying to like one up itself in absurdity, which is great. Maybe if they did like that as one little nuance in it, but not the overall story.
No, they just watched Mission Impossible and they're like, we need to do this shit.
Because they could have. Now, granted, in their defense, it probably wouldn't have been anywhere near as popular.
You need good writers,
but like they did, like the Tokyo Drift was a drifting movie. Like it
had its thing.
Yeah,
it had
its
reason.
Thing. They could have done a rally movie. They could have done a drag racing movie. They could have done a Formula One movie. They could have done a GP racing movie. They could have done a motorcycle movie and kept it a little authentic. But they were like, "Nah, we're in space with the Rock." And
that's right.
And you know what they really like to.
with the Fast
and Furious.
The T-Rex is chasing him, and Vin Diesel's shifting 18 gears, like trying to get away from
and King Kong is watching this movie on his TV, like so fourth wall. But I always like the rewrite film, and I do think that if they kind of rewrote Fast and the Furious into where it went, into where it could have gone, it would have been really great to see Dom actually build a business, a legitimate business, like, you know, but like still shit could happen to him. You know, you can get just run a business, be like, it's family.
What was that? Orange County Choppers. Remember that show with the dad building motorcycles?
Oh yeah.
It would have just been that, just them like arguing, like, I hate this paint job that you did, and it's they wouldn't have sold it anywhere near as many movies if they went with JP's idea.
Yeah, we're sitting here trying to correct $1 billion movie, guys. You know, like, I don't think that's gonna work well. If they want to go to space, dang it, they need to go to space.
And that's where they went. So, speaking about streaming and movies, and I guess movies that we might have missed in history, I'm going to bring up something really controversial off the gate, just to get the discussion going.
All right.
You guys have probably all seen this. We're probably around a similar age range. Mm-hmm. I think one of the movies that got a lot of hate, and I'm gonna defend it, is the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993.
I love that movie.
You do love it. Okay, we got someone on board.
Dude,
wow.
That movie came out when I was like 7, man.
Yeah.
Like it was the perfect time, man.
It was the best thing.
Oh, it was horrible, but it looks like
it's a good bad movie. Exactly.
It's a good.
bad
I'll
movie.
hear good bad. All right, I want to hear from Chris. What do you think? You said good bad.
It's good bad. Like from what I remember of it, they legit. I think wasn't he in like New York?
They're in Brooklyn. Yeah, they're in Brooklyn.
Nasty, dark neighborhood. Like, to me, the people that did the Ninja Turtles live action movie, basically just used all the same set.
Okay.
And then just brought Mario characters into it.
Sure.
So it's creepy and
dark.
When
was the last time you seen it?
Years ago.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw that out there right now. That's the main problem. Years ago. So we had this conception in our hand, like the Mandela effect, to be programmed to like hate something like Nickelback. Why do we hate Nickelback? We don't even know anymore.
Yeah, he has great
someone
hair.
Someone can go out there and make fun of, like, maybe it's like, look at this photograph. Like they mean that, okay? I get that.
Was actually accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So with the Mario Brothers movie, it's just been so much time. What I want you to do, Chris, is I want you to go home and rewatch it in your free time, and then we'll come back and reassess this.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I tried to show it to my children
and they were like,
a couple of years ago, and we got about 20 minutes in it, and they were like, no. They're like, this guy doesn't even look like Mario.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And who was Mario? Bob Hoskins?
Yeah, Bob Hoskins.
Yes.
Perfectly cast.
Hell yeah.
Perfectly cast. I actually like, all biases aside on nationality, it's 2023, guys. He can be whatever race he wants.
That's right. Yeah.
He's still an Italian plumber.
He can identify.
Yeah, exactly. But John Leguizamo, I just love him as a freaking actor.
Me too.
And this is him in such an earlier stage in his career. Still killing it, by the way. Absolutely killing it as Luigi.
I have to rewatch this because y'all are trying to make me feel like there was good acting in this.
He's got a straight up good. Yeah, the acting's solid. He's got a really.
Dennis Hopper. That's right.
Yep. Bowser, King Cooper. And he had a really good relationship. He had a really good chemistry with Princess Daisy, the girl that's in the film. Actually is the same actress that played in Broken Arrow with John Travolta and Christian Slater. So fun fact there.
That's a great movie.
Okay, so he's got the name, all right. Samantha Mathis.
And he doesn't have a computer. That's off the top of his head. This guy's good back there.
So just to defend it, because we're going to move on to everyone else's picks, just to give a recap, you have a film where you have these plumbers that get zapped into a different realm, this realm where these Koopas exist. These worlds are trying to emerge, and they kidnap the princess, who's kind of an archaeologist. So a lot of this stuff has, like, not Mario live action, but it's got Mario in it, sprinkled in it, which I really liked as a kid. I was just excited. There's a few things that make this movie great. A, the pacing. 2, the special effects. They had these crazy boots that they could jump in, and like I'm like, this is crazy. Nuances to the Babam, Yoshi. The prince is the king is actually Goop. He's the Goop of the entire dimension, because they need to bring order back to this make believe universe that they're living in, and that's a nod to Mario 3, because the king in Mario 3 is transformed in all sorts of crap, and then finally turns back into the king at the end.
Yeah.
So sure, it's not beat for beat, but it's like what they would envision a live action Mario that made sense with humans and not CGI.
I mean, it's probably going to be better than the Chris Pratt one that's coming out this year.
Do not say that. I am so stoked, because I grew up on Mario Brothers, the cartoon.
Me too.
And I feel like it's Mario cartoon.
Yeah.
Not Mario the movie.
No, I'm with you,
Not
man.
Mario the movie. I think there's a special place for, and I do agree with you, the first Ninja Turtles had that same dark grit.
Yeah, it was
it's that gritty early 90s film.
Yep.
That
Well, they were also still in the frame of using like more practical effects than CGI and stuff.
Yeah.
So like everything's like handmade, like.
And it really, but the griminess, it looked like they didn't block off the street. Like they just put all their props on the street in Brooklyn in the middle of the night. It was so. Like I don't know where they got the crackhead extras from, like to be in the background of every scene,
and a lot of like 80s nuances for it to be a 90s film, like very 80s style.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good pick, man. I haven't heard anybody defend that movie. In years,
right. No one wants to. They don't dare. There's too many negative memes out.
I mean, I can tell you, I've watched that movie more than 10
Me
times.
too. Me too. And they let it up as a sequel. It did so bad that they're like, sequel's canceled.
Yep. Yeah. That's sad.
My dad and I went to the theater. We both like high-fived each other at the end.
Me too. Well, not the high five. That's specific to you.
Yeah.
But no, my brother and I. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we also high five.
I'm like, take it back. That's my memory.
What if it happened at the same time?
Like a supernova just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
A new galaxy forms.
Did you see it on a Thursday or a Friday?
Bro, I'm getting that tingly.
That's right. I actually have my Super Mario movie ticket from 1991.
You had yours too?
We put them together.
Oh, shit.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Relax. We're in the film. We
That's
make
right.
it worse.
Well, yeah, it's just exactly. We're just sitting adjacent to Bob Hoskins.
That's the sequel.
Yeah.
Is you two now in the movie?
That's why it didn't work.
All right. So who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Who's daring?
Okay.
Right.
So I have I'm not the largest Tom Cruise fan. I see
Ooh,
him.
I like where you're going
I see him
already.
in certain things, and I like him, But my favorite Tom Cruise movie is Edge of Tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah, baby.
You know that movie?
Never seen it.
Never
Dude.
seen it. This movie is so underrated.
Yes.
It's so underrated.
Yes, it's so amazing.
Every time I talk to somebody about this, they're like,
I gotta
never heard of it. Because it kind of did this weird thing where when they started advertising the movie, they called
so
it
confusing.
They called it Live,
so
Die,
confusing.
Repeat. And then when the movie actually came out, it was called Edge of Tomorrow. So even on the posters and everything, it
Live,
doesn't
Die,
say
Repeat,
it just says
Yeah.
Live, Die, Repeat. But the movie itself, so they marketed it all funky. But it's an alien invasion movie where it's an alien invasion movie mixed with Groundhog's Day. Okay, so you get the cycle of Groundhog's Day where, if the guy dies or the day ends, everything just resets.
Ray, you seen this?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's great. Like honestly, if you weren't gonna say it, I was gonna say it as well. I'm like, it's like a live action, like Groundhog Day. If like you gave Bill Murray like a gun, and, like never ending.
Like a mech suit. It's not even just a gun. Like
Yeah.
But the whole goal is that he's basically trying to complete the video game without dying. You know what I mean? And he keeps dying. I mean, if you dislike Tom Cruise, this is the perfect movie for you too.
watch him die
because
like
he
1,000
just dies 1,000 times a day, But at the same time, it's true though. But it's so good, man. It's the best alien invasion movie ever.
What's
Kidman, that definitely
Yeah.
What's the other movie that he did that's an alien invasion movie?
Okay.
World of the Worlds.
So it's that, but it restarts every time.
It's
and he's
better though
It's
because
better.
War of the Worlds is more like an artsy alien invasion movie
Okay.
where at the
Yeah.
end there's no action; they just die
Yeah.
because they can't take our
Nature.
bacteria. Yeah,
this
exactly.
is
or
just
something.
Independence Day.
Yeah,
like,
this is like Independence Day if the action was even more.
This is like
Hyped
Storm Strooper. What was it called? Crap.
the Stormtrooper. You're right.
Oh,
It's with a giant, nasty fake
How are we
aliens.
not knowing the name
What is
of
that
this?
movie?
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Starship Troopers.
Okay,
Yes.
it's okay. So it's like Starship Troopers, but also he plays an underdog because he's not a soldier.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is like a bookworm guy. I think he's more like on the data side of war.
Yes.
And they're like, no, you're going to war. And so what is so great about movies that do this, and movies don't do this anymore, especially with Marvel characters getting OP.
Yes.
What you need is a character that you're truly afraid for.
Yeah.
And that works with children, like in Jurassic Park. In any Steven Spielberg movie, because he
Yeah.
loves to use children.
Yep.
Stranger Things, children.
Sounds sketchy,
Scary.
but yeah.
But you know,
Well, E.T. It's his thing.
it's
man.
yeah.
He just loves to use
He
children.
loves children.
Tom Cruise.
Child labor is his favorite part of the whole movie process.
Tom Cruise plays it off so well when he first gets dropped into battle that you're like your heart's beating with his.
Yeah.
Because he's about to be fucked. Because he's going into a battlefield as like basically meat, like infantry.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna die within seconds. So you're like, this is crazy. And the movie just gets better.
Yeah, exactly. So
Plus he remembers
he's
yesterday.
going through the whole thing, like learning where the pitfalls are by dying.
You know what it's like? It's like playing. I can't remember the video game, but there's a video game where you play D-Day, and they drop you off at the beach, and when you die, they drop Medal of Honor.
Medal of
They drop
Honor.
you back
Yep.
off at the beach.
Yep.
Exactly.
So he's got to live it.
And you have to keep
surviving
You gotta
as
keep
long
surviving.
as you can, and the same shit keeps happening to you.
same shit, same
Yeah.
guns. Like you think
That's
about
actually a cool
it,
idea.
Yeah,
That's a cool
right.
concept.
It's an amazing concept,
Yeah.
and they make it make sense.
Yes.
no spoilers, but it's not like a fairy godmother. They made it make scientific sense.
Yeah.
so
why
that's
he's in the lube.
yeah,
Everything. They explain
it's
it all.
amazing. So
right.
great recommendation.
The fact that they haven't made a sequel to it, I'm telling you, it's
They
the
could
most underrated
easily-
movie. It's
so
good.
underrated.
Yeah, and the
Awesome.
CGI and everything in it is pitch perfect. Like it looks great.
Unfortunately, if they remade it, they would just remake it with Tom Cruise and just have. What's with the new thing now, where they're remaking the movies and having these old guys? Indiana Jones is about to come out, and the same
It's
Harrison
gonna be
Ford or whatever his
Harrison
name
Ford's
is
be
is
in
going
it
to play
again?
Indiana Jones again.
Why?
They're also CGIing him.
They're de-aging them
They're
too.
de-aging him.
You know what they really need to freaking do? They need to do like the new Chronicles or Young Indiana Jones or
Yeah.
something where it's a freaking kid who's all because they did that back in the day.
Yeah, you
I
remember
grew
that
up. I
show?
grew up
Yeah,
on it. It was
dude.
amazing
Yeah.
because they introduced that character in
Yeah.
the Last Crusade.
Yeah, the
Last
little Asian kid, right?
No.
No.
The
Oh.
Last Crusade starts with Indiana Jones as a prequel.
Yep.
Okay.
It starts with him as like a teenager getting into trouble.
Oh, I gotta go
and
back
then
and
it's
watch
that, and then it's fast forwards.
Phoenix, but
Yep.
unfortunately his story ends
He was him at the time.
Yep.
When did he pass? Because they did
shortly after.
But
short
he-
because they did change the actor, the Indiana
Yeah,
Jones actor.
that's what I was gonna say.
And I was
He didn't play
wondering
it.
why they would change the actor, and it's because he died.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, because they had a young Indiana Jones TV show that I think it only went one season, but it was,
it was
excellent.
amazing.
So good.
Right.
And when he was like when he played little kid and he was still suave like
Yep.
Bond, I
Yes.
loved it. He's like this suave little kid.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it was.
pretty cool.
I don't know. You know, it's weird. I think if they made something like that now, I'm with you. I think it would take
It
off.
would totally work
Yeah.
because the concept works.
Yeah.
Adventure. It's kind of like that last video game movie they did, Uncharted.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what they should have done. They should have made Tom Holland Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
Instead of giving him Nathan Drake, who Tom Holland's like obviously in his 20s, and Nathan Drake in the game's like a grizzled like 30-year-old man. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
like the it's not that it's a bad movie. Uncharted's fine, but it's not. I feel like it just wasn't the right film for him. But a young Indiana Jones would have been spot on for that.
Absolutely.
Kid. Yeah.
You know what's made me think of TV show. I know we're doing movies,
Yeah.
but there was did anyone here ever watch that show Jericho?
Oh yeah. I've seen everything.
So disgusted that closed that they canceled
because
that at the moment that they canceled it.
Yeah,
What's
they were
that?
cliffhanger.
Yeah, so Jericho is this show, and super appropriate now that the pandemic has actually shut the world down at one point.
Okay.
The story is based on America gets hit by an actual nuclear bomb.
A bunch of
right?
them.
Yeah, at like multiple points around the country all at once.
Snap.
Completely shut America down. Jericho is this small town, right? I don't know what part of the country it was
like Midwest.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
And this guy who was, I think he was like an Air Force pilot. I'm looking at Brian because he knows everything.
It was Skeet Ulrich from Screen.
Oh, I know Ski already.
Yeah, he was the main character.
Yeah, so he's like this Air Force pilot who had seen battle stuff, and then he was flying planes for private people. He happened to be in town when this happens. His father's in the Army. His dad's like the sheriff or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they're just trying to keep their small town alive.
Yeah.
And then people come in who are like have like all kinds of cancers and stuff and diseased from being out on the road. There's fake military people that come in that try and scam them out of their resources. Mm-hmm. They start fighting with other town. Like, what's cool about it is it's what would really happen.
And what is what show is
it's
this
called
on?
Jericho.
What's it on?
Yeah.
It was on cable back in the day.
Oh, so this is an old show.
Yeah,
old
it's
show.
from
It's
from the early 2000s. Yeah.
Oh, so kind of during Ulrich's rise of his career.
That's right. It was after Scream.
Because he was in Scooby Doo.
Yep, that's right.
And I think that's it. Anyway, not like I'm hating on the guy. Like, he's in movies, and I'm making fun of him for.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He was great. I liked him too.
But it was so good because they ended up warring over resources with a neighboring town.
Yeah.
To the point where the neighboring town started to build like homemade bombs and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and they were going to war with each other.
I like that. I like that how we get redomesticated in the sense of our primal abilities.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, that's The Last of Us.
That's a lot. I was gonna say it sounds a lot like, except with zombies.
you guys are watching that.
You are?
Yeah. Yes, dude. I love the Last of Us games. I mean, I literally.
I'm about to play them.
You've never played them?
No, but I'm going to. Like, literally, that was the thing I download. I'm downloading that.
I saw it.
It's in the
upstairs,
queue.
Yeah.
Well, because I want to know.
So, did you watch the show already?
I watched the first 2 episodes, and the second one pissed me off so much that I stopped watching.
Wow, dude. What I know we're pivoting hardcore. What was the thing that
You're not gonna like
No,
anything about what I'm gonna say about The Last of Us.
Okay, let's hear it.
I thought it started so freaking strong.
Yeah. That first episode's solid.
Well, I mean, I thought the first 20 minutes was solid.
Yeah.
And I thought the whole show was going to be about them just being in it.
Yeah.
So my expectation was like, this is badass. They're in it.
Right.
And as she dies in his hands,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh shit, this is so intense. They're going to be in it. Then
Yeah.
they go like 20 years later. I'm like, whoa. 20 years later, I didn't sign up for that. Like, I don't want to watch 10 episodes of this dude freaking moping around because of his freaking daughter. I go 20 years later. I go, wait, what just happened in the past 20 years? Like, I can't even relate to the guy anymore. I'm like, you've seen so much stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, so that was kind of what turned me off. And then, of course, the second episode is like a whole 45 minutes of them walking, and I just can't watch walking.
I mean, that is basically what the game is, too, though. It's a lot of them going from place to place. I will say the cutscenes. I'm not gonna lie though. The game is better, than the show. It's a lot better.
Yeah, because it's interactive.
I don't understand how they're gonna have to rewrite this whole show though. This is the thing. Like, I mean, at some point, I'm not gonna ruin anything.
Yeah.
But at some point, the show's just gonna have to divulge away from the game storyline because where it goes, like, it's
because as a gamer.
Yeah, it's not gonna continue. You know what I mean? Like,
they want to make money. I'm sure.
Exactly. Like, there's some.
They'll find a way.
JP's like, I just downloaded Spider-Man. I just hate all that swinging from the building stuff, though. I don't want to do any of that shit.
I hope he doesn't do that in the game.
At least you didn't download Death Standing, because that game is literally all walking. So
I mean, I don't mind playing when I'm walking and killing.
Yeah.
I just don't want to watch a show that does that.
Well, it's with all zombie shows. The problem is that it's same thing with like The Walking Dead and everything. Is like you eventually get to a point where like the zombies are just like like background. You know what I mean?
They're not even part of the.
Yeah, exactly. And the real show is like just people versus people. You know,
it really is, because that's what's interesting.
Exactly.
You can't relate to a zombie, and you need to with your antagonist. Antagonist has to be something you relate to.
So that's what makes Jericho so cool.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
basically
That's why I was saying without zombies.
Yeah, without zombies.
Zombies.
They're like, I mean, there's a point where they're like hunting animals because they got to get food, and they're worried about winter and having enough supplies, and other towns are stealing their supplies.
Zombies good in a movie, and the reason why is because it can have its resolution, it can have its whole circle, fill its arc. But when you're trying to do a show, you're just kind of stretching out this soulless character, which is why to fix zombie shows, we give them, like the Gremlins to the new batch, personality. This one zombie's like, well, I don't get it. Like this town's going crazy, isn't it, guys? Why don't you say this town's just going nuts? I'm not here trying to eat nobody. I'm keeping it myself.
Wait, you're like, I don't prefer the white meat.
I was just trying to improve the.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And there's dogs that in the game that you literally have to get by, and there hasn't been
Zombie dogs?
Yeah, zombie dogs.
All right.
They didn't add that one in. You know why? Because that's the one golden rule in Hollywood.
Don't kill an animal. Hey, well, have you ever played Wolfenstein?
Yeah.
Because you kill some Nazi dogs.
Shotgun blasted those German shepherds to death.
Wolfenstein didn't care.
No, that was heartless.
Two zombie things.
Okay.
If you like anime and you're a bit of a pervert, I remember
you
watching,
had me peaked.
Don't they go hand in hand?
High School of the Dead.
Okay.
If you've ever watched it, it's to the point where it's like, okay, boobs are only involved in so many activities. You guys gotta relax. But it's a really great storyline. Then my wife was getting a tattoo at this Chinese tattoo place in Orlando. And while we were there, they were playing. You know how you can get the different versions of Netflix based on like I guess a VPN that has like whatever. They had like the Chinese Netflix. There was this Chinese zombie movie. I got to figure out what this movie was. It was the greatest zombie movie I've ever seen. They're in this like apartment complex with like these high-rise apartments. There's, again, zombie apocalypse down below. And in this apartment complex, there's only, well, later on you find out there's more people, but there's only this one kid. He's in this apartment by himself. And he looks across the courtyard, and across the courtyard is this girl in her apartment by herself.
Ooh.
And the zombie apocalypse is happening down below, and they like become friends because they're just trying to survive.
Hell yeah.
And in the daytime, he like raids other apartments
For like food?
for resources.
Yeah, resources.
Yeah. And the end of the movie is they finally decide like, all right, we're gonna try and meet each other by going downstairs and like rushing through the zombies.
And they just die.
No, it was.
It's a love story.
understand.
It's a love
It's
story.
a zombie love story.
But it's, you know how like now all
I like
of the
that. I
Me
like
too.
that. That's a great concept because everyone's gonna have their micro story within a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
exactly
That's what it basically is.
Yeah.
It's a story that uses them as they should be used, and that in this scenario is a threat that's keeping two lovebirds apart.
Yeah. And what I like now is like, you know how now like most of the good horror movies are actually like Japanese and Chinese movies that American companies then make their version of.
Yep.
What's cool about it is they went all the way dark. So the way that he realizes that the girl's there and that somebody else is alive in his apartment complex, he's literally standing on a chair with like a piece of rope that he made around his neck about to kill himself. They go through the emotions that you actually would go through in a real zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I am going to kill myself at this point. Yeah.
Well, on that note, guys, we got a minute left. We're gonna end it on suicide. We're definitely gonna have you guys back on. Chris, what was if you did? I know we talked about a lot of movies. Did you have one other movie that we can shout out real quick? Or
one movie that I don't understand why more like white people have never seen, Harlem Nights.
okay.
It's one of the greatest.
Put it on the list.
movies.
I'm Asian, but I have not.
So you've
seen
never
Harlem.
seen
I've
Harlem
never
Nights?
seen
Oh
Harlem
my!
Nights.
Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Red Fox.
That's a
like-
that's a
Just-
oh
yeah,
that's a lineup. That's a lineup.
Arsenio Hall.
Shot my pinky toe out.
Yeah, it's the greatest. Please watch that movie. Yeah, it will change your life.
Shout out your Instagram.
Comedian Chris Robinson and the Funny Style Podcast to listen to our podcast.
Brian Milligan Comedy and Funny Style Podcast as well.
And we got Chris Ray in the corner.
Chris Ray 227 on Instagram.
All right, and that's Stream It.
All right.
We did it, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.